Michigan huddling on this side, Oklahoma across the way. Ohio State was beaten this afternoon, and the remains the playing. And I'm sure that the Boomer Sooners figure that if they win, they will be voted the national champions.
I'm sure they do, Jim. And as I mentioned earlier, it can take 2 or 3 different twists. We're looking at Barry Switzer. He's got a smile. I don't know if that's the indication of his feeling about the game that was just over. Bo Schembechler, I know, is just as interested in the outcome. But what I did mention is that it can take 2 or 3 different turns when you already know going into a ball game that you have a chance to get into and be a national champion. If you put your attention on the ball game, everything goes fine. If you put your attention on the importance of what it means to win the ball game, all kinds of things can happen, and I think we'll get a pretty good look at it in just a minute.
All right, Tony D, as they call him out in Oklahoma land, Tony DiRienzo, who came from Sao Paulo, Brazil, to Ardmore, Oklahoma in his senior year in high school as an exchange student, will kick it off. And the deep man for Michigan will be number 5, Gordon Bell, who during his career in 1975 carried the ball for 1,385 yards to lead the Big Ten. And Bell has been averaging about 26 yards per kickoff return. His number is 5. He is in the middle. They'll try to get the ball to him. Everybody's on their feet. And the 1976 Orange Bowl game is underway. Gordon Bell in the end zone and will down it there. It'll come out to the 20-yard line. First down and 10. Rick Leach, number 7, will be the quarterback. Gordy Bell, number 5, the tailback. Rob Lytle, number 41, the fullback. Your split end, Keith Johnson, 27. Your wingback, Jim Smith, 37. Your tight end, 82, Mark Smirky. Steve King, 67. Bill Dufek, 73, your tackles. Mark Donahue, 60. Walt Downing, 72, the guards. Jim Sear, 52 at center. First down from the 20. Gordy Bell and runs right into the left side, led by Mike Phillips, number 89. Mike Phillips, 89, and then those Salmon brothers, Leroy, 93, the Outland Trophy winner, Dewey, 91, the nose guard, Anthony Bryant, 71, Jimbo Elrod, another All-American, at right end. 3 All-Americans in that front 5. Jamie Thomas, 38, Bill Dalkey, 40, are your linebackers. Sidney Brown, 21, Jerry Anderson, 17, your corners, Scott Hill, 7, Zach Henderson, 1, the safeties. Second down, 9. This time it is Jim Smith. Smith has the first down, riding out to the 35-yard line where Henderson makes the stop.
Jim, just a little misdirection play. They've got to do it early because Oklahoma's pursuit is so great. Give it to Jimmy Smith, who many consider to be their best athlete. Little fake on him. Looks like it's going to be a continuation of an option. However, he hands it to Smith. Smith finds a hole, got good blocking. That's a big play to start so early.
Jim Smith of Blue Island, Illinois, number 37. First down from a 35. This is Leach pitching back to Bell, and excellent coverage by Mike Phillips and Jamie Thomas. Numbers 89 and 38.
Just shut them down that time. Coming to the short side, they looked for somebody to break down somewhere defensively. They didn't get it that time. Gordon Bell had nothing to do but run out of bounds time he got the ball.
Loss of a yard. It is 2nd and 11 from a 34. For those of you who may not have heard it, number 1 ranked Ohio State defeated by UCLA in the Rose Bowl just concluded 23-10. And the national championship is up for grabs here tonight. Rick Leach. Leach throws the ball. It is intercepted by number 7, Scott Hill. The first turnover of the ball game, and Oklahoma will have the ball at midfield.
Well, all year long, that's the way it's been going, Jimmy. Both groups have been a little suspect in the air. I expected maybe that fumbles were the only things we'd see put up there. However, Rick makes a fake on a handoff, gets away, does a fine job, actually has Smith in between the hole out there, underthrows it. Scott Hill picks it up. Now the Okies have the ball.
Steve Davis, number 5 at quarter. Joe Washington, 24. Jim Luttrell, 42. Elvis Peacock, 4 in that wishbone. Second man through is Jim Luttrell, the fullback. Victor Hicks, 80. Check that. That was Joe Washington, number 84. Tinker Owens, number 11, the split end. Carl Baldischweiler, 67. They call him the USS Vaughn. Mike Vaughn, 79, the tackles. Evans and Webb, the guards. Webb's an All-American, and Buchanan at center. Second down, Davis keeps the football, and Davis gets inside the 45-yard line. Down to about the 44. Making the stop, Dan Jellick, number 81 at left end. Jeff Perlinger, 97. Tim Davis, the good middle guard, 56. Mo Morton, 77, the right tackle. Mike Holmes, 40, the right end. Calvin O'Neill, 96, one linebacker. Dave Devich, 55, another. Wolfman is Don Dufek, number 35. We'll give you the deep men in a moment. Third down, short yardage. Washington hit. Does not have the first down. It'll be fourth down at the 43. Hit by Jim Pickens, number 18. Dwight Hicks, number 17, and Jim Bolden, 22. Round out that Michigan backfield. Fourth down and about 3.5. 12:25 to go. We are just starting the ball game. We're in the first quarter. There's no score. And now the kicking unit comes on, and this has been one of the problems of Oklahoma in its kicking game. Dinker Owens forced to punt this year and has had several blocks.
Well, they haven't had to punt very often, Jim. I can understand why they don't work on it too hard.
Owens under no pressure there, but gets the ball. Back to Dwight Hicks, and the ball goes into the end zone. And will come out to the 20-yard line. First down and 10. So there's been a turnover, but there's been no score. 11:57 to go, first quarter, early on in the 1976 Orange Bowl. Oklahoma nothing, Michigan nothing. Offense and defense remain the same. First down, Michigan from their own 20-yard line. As Keith Johnson comes wide to the right. Leach has thrown once tonight. It has been intercepted. That's Jim Smith in motion. Lytle carrying the football. They have gotten a yard. Dewey Selman. And Jimbo Elrod and Bill Dalkey down at the bottom. I like Bob Hope's line about the All-American brothers Dewey and Leroy Selman. When introducing him, he said, Dewey hits him and Leroy calls the next of kin. Second down, 9.
It's not too far off.
There's been one first down tonight. There's Dewey Selman. They're from Eufaula. And their older brother Lucius played with them a couple of years ago. They had 3 Selman brothers. Lucius is now out of school. Second down, and Leach is going to the air again, putting it out here and over the head of Keith Johnson, the split end. It'll be third down and 9 from the 21. Well, my compatriot John Brody said if you see the ball in the air on Thursday night, it'll be a fumble. Leach has already thrown twice.
Well, you can see what makes it tough. He knows it's tough to run the ball against Oklahoma. Geez, when you have three All-American football players playing that line, it just makes it tough. Now Sears got an awful tough job with Dewey Selman, the man right over his nose, Sear being the center. You're going to see Leroy Selman in the backfield, but putting that pressure makes it tough on a quarterback.
Leach throwing on third down 9. If he can get it away, and does not. They'll have to kick it away. Dewey Selman and Leroy Selman. Leroy's the Outland Trophy winner.
Okay, let's just take a look. Now, I asked Bo Schembechler earlier if Ray Leach threw the ball very much. He said, hey, he had to learn to be the type of quarterback that we use here. He was a drop-back quarterback in high school. He's a great athlete. He used to throw the ball 30, 35 times a game. Looks right now like he's trying to.
So Jimbo Elrod also putting on the pressure. John Anderson to get the ball away. Fair catch called for by number 1 Zach Henderson at the 49-yard line. And so Oklahoma has the football again. 10:37 to go. We're still in the first quarter, and there's no score. In the red shirt there without a number is Lucius Selman, the other Selman who graduated a couple of years back.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have asked me, what does Mom feed him? I don't know what she feeds him, but I'd like to know how she raised him because she seems to have the answer.
That's Mo Morton, number 77, tossing Steve Davis. Back to the 43-yard line. That'll be second down at about 16 to go.
This looks like another one of those ball games, Jim, where the defense walks off and says, now make sure you hold them, offense.
Billy Brooks is in now as the wide receiver. Number 82 goes to the top of your screen. Oklahoma hasn't thrown yet. Davis hands off to Luttrell, the fullback, who gets across the 45-yard line to about the 46. Getting up off the pile again is Mo Morton, that right tackle. Oklahoma is awesome in the offensive line. Their listed weights at the tackles 262 and 282. At the guards 265 and 247, and at center 230. Third down and 13. Davis back for his first pass. If he can get it away, a dangerous runner. Down he goes, caught from behind, and there's that man again, Mo Morton, number 77. And now Oklahoma will have to kick it away.
I don't think Oklahoma's been in third down and 14 all year long. They probably don't have a play for it.
Gordy Bell is not going deep. Instead, it'll be number 17, Dwight Hicks. And now joining him back there is Jim Smith. As on the 30 stands Tinker Owens. Owens lines this one.
Catch the ball!
Well, they're not going to touch that, and Oklahoma's going to get an excellent punt out of that inside the 10 down to about the 6-yard line. Rolling dead at the 5 as Jim Smith chose to let it go by.
So many guys down there, they must have figured there was a president in that ball.
The 42nd Annual Orange Bowl, with the University of Michigan making its first appearance in any bowl other than the Rose Bowl. And Oklahoma has been here before. They haven't been anywhere seen on television in the last couple of years because of probation. And are both teams ready? You bet they are. Now Oklahoma, with its great defense, led by the Selman brothers, will try to bottle up the Wolverines. Lytle got a couple of yards out to the 7-yard line. Jimbo Elrod down at the bottom there. Jimbo Elrod, All-American. Number 54, Dewey Selman, number 91, All-American. Leroy Selman, 93, All-American, and the Outland Trophy winner. Now Keith Johnson comes sprinting onto the field, and Jim Smith is coming out. It'll be second down and 8 from the 7-yard line. Johnson goes very wide left. That's Gordy Bell, and he just goes back to the line of scrimmage. Right there is Leroy Selman. And if you haven't heard enough about the Selman brothers, it is said by pro scouts that have watched all of the films that Leroy has been knocked off his feet twice in his entire career.
We'll get a chance to look at it here, Jim. The guy's got such great movement, both laterally and forward, and he's in outstanding strength. He's the type of man you start a defense with in professional football, and an expansion club couldn't find a better guy. That time he just made a play that not many people can make.
Jim Smith is in. The tight end, Gene Johnson, comes out. Straight up the middle goes Lytle. And Lytle gets across the 15-yard line, and that's enough for the first down. Jimbo Elrod made the stop. Michigan gets a little bit out of their hole.
You know that's a big one because all you have to do, Sear's been working real hard. He knows he has to get a piece of Dewey Selman for them to do anything up the middle. That time he holds his ground with him, gets a little movement on him. Dewey can't react in time, and that's why Lytle got the first down. Couldn't have come at a better time for Michigan.
E. Johnson comes out. Schmerge, 82. Gene Johnson, 88. Two tight ends are in there. There's Gordy Bell. Oh, flag goes down as Bell goes down at the 13-yard line with Leroy Selman. Number 93 and his brother Dewey right there. The flag went down, downfield. Pistol Pete Williams. And it may be holding, but we'll wait for his announcement. Holding is what it is.
All right. I got number 88 for the white team for holding. It's going to be second down where the ball is, or it's going to be first down with half the distance to the goal. It's going to be first down in about 17.
Dewey is making the decision. And I didn't hear what he said. He wants that distance back to the goal.
It makes good sense why. I mean, Michigan's not the type of football team that they're...
I've got holding against the right end on the white team.
Yep, we got it again. Anyway, they're not the type of team that wants to throw the ball, particularly in the position they're in right now, and Oklahoma wants every opportunity to keep them down there.
Again, Jim Smith comes out, 27. Keith Johnson replaces him. First down and 19. Gordy Bell finds his way across the 10-yard line for pickup about 4. And it'll be second down and 15 to go. Bill Dalkey and Scott Hill in on the stop. Gordy Bell, 1,335 yards. That led the Big Ten this year. Barry Switzer at a luncheon the other day was saying the 2 best running backs in football are on this field. His own Joe Washington and Gordy Bell of Michigan. Others may argue, but that's what Coach Switzer said. Lytle across the 15 to the 17-yard line, where Sidney Brown and Jamie Thomas made the tackle.
Let's take a look at the other Selman brother, Leroy. He gets a shot. Boy, it's tough to move him very far. Now, they had a very nice, successful play. Now they're all the way up to 3rd and 9.
Leroy Selman and his brother Dewey from Eufaula, Oklahoma. Not only can they play football, but they are excellent students at Norman. 3rd down and 9. Leach keeps the ball himself, turns upfield. He's got the first down and more. Rick Leach has the first down across the 30-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Brown and Henderson. They'll spot the football at the 33, and Michigan again gets out of the hole.
Hey, Jim, when you make a play like that, you've got to have some movement up front. That time they got it. Nothing to do for Rick but pick the hole and go.
Mark Spurgey comes out. Gene Johnson, 88, goes in as a tight end. 5:23 to go. Oklahoma and Michigan are scoreless in the first quarter of the Orange Bowl. First man through is Lytle again. Across the 35. A gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. Anthony Bryant doesn't get the calls in the press that the Selman brothers and Elrod get, but a good right tackle. All 245 pounds of him made the stop. Number 71 in your picture there.
I don't think I've ever seen a team that has so much size and quickness, too, as Oklahoma. And for Michigan to be moving the ball as they have is very impressive.
Second down and 7. Leach, look out. Cornerback coming in, and Leach turns it upfield. Brown was coming in and pursued him upfield, but Leach has got the first down. Sidney Brown was coming all the way, trailed him out of the backfield, and made the stop across the 45.
Second fine run that Rick Leach has made. He goes back to throw, but even when they do drop back, there's still a chance that they're going to take off with it. And this time, a little hole open. That's all he needs. Picked up another first down. Very nice play.
Michigan had this ball on its own 5, first down. Now it's first down at their 45. Rick Leach, nobody to throw it to, and he's got another first down, I believe, as he moves into Oklahoma territory, down to the 44-yard line. Leroy Selman trailed him to make the stop.
Those holes probably look big to Rick, but from up here, it doesn't look like there's any room at all. He's been finding holes where only he can see them.
Well, they moved the ball back exactly to the 45, and if he does not have the first down, it's going to be a matter of inches. And it's going to be a matter of inches, isn't it? Second down, and that far to go. Well, it's funny how you'll sit around Miami, as we have done, looking at Oklahoma, looking at Michigan, wondering what could happen if, and the if turned out to be true this afternoon when Ohio State was bounced by UCLA. And here we are for perhaps all the marbles in the 1975 season.
And the oxygen is running a little thin.
Second down, inches. Lytle with the football has the first down. And he went right up the middle, down to the 41.
Can't make a bad call running the ball on 2nd and 1. They'd like to have more of those situations.
Dewey Selman makes the stop. Now Keith Johnson, 27, dashes into the huddle, and Gene Johnson, 88, no relation, comes out. Johnson goes wide to the left of the top of your screen, and Jim Smith is flanked to the left. Now in motion. Gordy Bell. Oh, what a play. There's that number 21, Sidney Brown of New Orleans, to make the stop.
And he made that play awfully fast because something did actually set up there, and Bell was cutting in. He saw a hole. Brown just committed himself too fast and put it to him.
Second down and 12. The ball now back on the 44 of Oklahoma. Time running down. We've got 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Bo Schembechler, fine coach for Michigan. Michigan's only been to the Rose Bowl before today, won 4 out of their 6 appearances. Rick Leach still has the football, looking downfield for Johnson, off his hands and out of bounds. Keith Johnson, far downfield at the 19-yard line, couldn't hold on to it, with Jerry Anderson, who leads the club in interceptions, and Zach Henderson with him.
It was an excellent throw, Jim. We'll get a chance to see it. Little fake. They've been moving the ball well on the ground. It's the first time he's really had time when he went back to throw the ball. Put it in the only place it could have been completed. These receivers don't give many chances to catch the ball. When they do, they'd like to come down with it.
Now it is third down and 12 to go from the 44 of Oklahoma. Johnson and Smith both go wide to the left. On the quick count, Leach back under, tremendous pressure, gets away, gets a block.
Oh, boy.
Across the 40 and down near the first down. It all depends on where they mark it.
He's got it,
the
Jim.
first down at the 31.
He made a great play. He got out of the real big problem that was hanging him up early in the pocket. When he did, all his blockers just came right around, picked him up, got a little help. Boy, he's not thinking about throwing it now. You can see he goes back to throw, comes in, and Dewey Selman's got a little piece up and actually spun him right around, and pursuit was dead once they did that. He got out, made a fine play, and Leroy finally caught him from the back.
And it's fourth down and inches to go. From a 32-yard line, Michigan looking to the bench. In come 2 tight ends, Schmerge and Johnson, and apparently Bo Schembechler has told Rick Leach and company, go for it. 2:22 left, first quarter. No score. Well, in the excitement of the fact that this game could be for the national championship, we forgot to tell you the weather in Miami has been absolutely delightful, and is tonight.
Not too bad.
Fourth and inches. Well, somebody moved. Question is, offense or defense?
I think they both moved. I don't know if anybody pulled the offensive left end off. He did get Oklahoma to jump a little bit. I think they're probably calling on both sides.
Yeah, we'll see. Pistol Pete Williams will tell us. Motion there. And nothing charged against Oklahoma. So it'll be fourth down and about 5.5.
But when I mentioned if you pull a man on offense offsides, that's his fault. If you do it defensively with an offensive movement, that's your fault too. And it's all on the offense.
So now John Anderson comes in. And will punt the ball away. Nobody particularly deep at all for Oklahoma. Anderson averaging about 38 yards per punt, standing on his own 49. Henderson now backs up inside the 10. Nobody is rushing. And Anderson hangs it high and short. Beautiful. They're down there. Let's see if they can down it before it goes into the end zone. And they do on the 1-foot line. John Anderson puts it down to the 1-foot line. 1:47 to go, and now it is Oklahoma's turn to be in the hole. We're in the first quarter, no score. With John Brody, Jim Simpson, we're both in the Orange Bowl, and so are Michigan and Oklahoma and about 80,000 others. First down from the 1. That's Steve Davis getting a couple of yards out to the 3. It'll be second down and 8.
You can see why he wanted to get any kind of movement to get the ball out to at least the 2 or 3 yard line, because that wishbone offense just isn't too effective throwing the ball around back in your own end zone. They have definitely put an awful lot of pressure on both offenses. In fact, the last time that Michigan had the ball, they made a 60-yard drive and still had to punt. That's keeping them back there pretty good.
Tinker Owens wide to the right, but Oklahoma's still deep in a hole. That's Steve Davis again. And Davis, I believe, has got the first down.
Maybe just a little bit short, Jim. I call that last one so perfectly. I thought I'd have another go at it.
Steve Davis carried 171 times during the regular season, and so did Joe Washington. That is how much Steve Davis carries the football. Tied. Well, you're right this time, Broad. It's 3rd and inches. Davis with the football has the first down out to the 20-yard line. And now both clubs, deep in the hole, have been able to move the football out.
Boy, they weren't able to move the ball from midfield, but both teams being backed up and moved it right out of there. You'll be able to take a look, a little fake to Luttrell. Joe Washington makes an excellent block, gives him an opportunity to get by the man that's responsible for him. That's just a good run.
27 seconds to go, first quarter. First down, Oklahoma. Davis hangs on to the football and gets a couple of yards only.
Boy, I don't know
Devich is there. Jellick is there.
And Tim Davis was there. He jumped all the way around the block, came all the way down the line in great pursuit to make a fine play.
All right, that's the end of the first quarter. Everybody here, and I'm sure you know, the national championship is at stake, but at the end of a quarter, neither team has come close to scoring. It's 0-0. Second down at the 23-yard line for Oklahoma. Barry Switzer and his staff. Offensive coordinator wigwags signals to Steve Davis on every play, telling him what it is he wants. There goes Luttrell across the 35, first down for the Sooners. And there's Don Dufek to make the tackle.
Jim, you can see Davis makes excellent decisions, as does Rick Leach. And you have to run in that sort of an offense. He comes down the line. If anybody overplays their position just a little, they open up a gap. That's all he needs. He usually makes the right one.
Tigger Owens and now Elvis Peacock both come wide right. On first down, Joe Washington with the football out to the 39-yard line. A gain of 3. And it'll be 2nd and 7 from there. Tim Davis again, that quick middle guard. The senior from Warren, Ohio, made the stop. And here's what happened in the first quarter statistically.
I think those 2 zeros down at the bottom are pretty indicative of what you can expect for the rest of the game.
Second down, Davis is back to throw and looking for Tinker Owens. He's got it midfield, out of bounds.
Didn't take me long to be wrong there. Dropped back and whipped one to Tinker. Tinker's caught 9 balls all year long. That was a big moment for him. Let's take a look, and if we get a chance, we'll see Tinker come out of his pattern. Davis drops back on a simple little 5-step drop, puts the ball right on the money just as he comes out of his move. Here's a guy that will be drafted, even though he hasn't caught many balls, because he's got all the equipment.
The throw carried, flag is down. Tim Davis made the stop. By the way, we see Derek Howard, number 10, is in there playing now. The strong side. Jim Pickens is out. Motion charged against Oklahoma.
This is your offensive line.
Oh, the Sooners move backwards, anticipating that Don Dufek, the defensive captain, is going to say, we want the yardage. Takes the ball back inside the 45.
I have illegal motion against the whole right red offensive line.
The whole group?
Everybody on that right side, he said, including Terry Webb, the All-American guard from Muskogee, Oklahoma. First down, 15. Owens trots out to the left. Victor Hicks, the tight end, is on the right side. The trail again, the fullback, and still on his feet as he gets out to the 48-yard line. And it'll be second down and about 12. Down at the bottom is Mo Morton and Jeff Perlinger. 96 in your picture there is Calvin O'Neill, a linebacker who led the club in total tackles, individual and assists this year, out of Saginaw, Michigan. 81, Dan Jellick there. They were wondering whether or not he'd be able to play because of a bad knee. Second down and 12. Luttrell again, and gets out to the 50-yard line. Third down and 10. I think you'll find 35 Don Dufek is around that ball, along with, again, Mo Morton.
And, Jim, I think you will see the indicative thing is a 5-yard penalty could really hurt both these offenses because it doesn't change their strategy much. First and 12, 1st and 15. It just doesn't matter much. They're going to go right down that line, pitching the ball to the open man, and it makes it a little tougher.
Victor Hicks is now wide to the left, and Davis is going back to throw, setting up the screen if he can. Almost intercepted by Perlinger across the way.
Dufek actually surprised Steve Davis a little bit on the play. Steve thought he had him counted out there as that wolf man or strong safety, whichever you prefer to call him. He did blitz. There was nobody to pick him up, and he forced Davis to throw his screen before he was ready. As you can see here, he drops back. It's nice to get a little piece of him to give him a chance to throw. When he did, he almost got it picked off.
Tinker Owens stands back at his own 35-yard line. Jim Smith, the deep man, the rush is on, and he gets it away. Smith says, I want a fair catch. They're all around him there. They were, as a matter of fact, they were right in his face. If he had dropped it, I don't know whether or not they would have called it. Well, down memory lane again we go. 12:41 to go in the first half. There's no score. Here's Jim Smith. Smith breaks out across the 30-yard line and very close to first down. Number 17, Jerry Anderson, and 40, Bill Dalkey, made the stop there.
Second time that play's worked effectively. Now, Smith is an excellent runner, fine receiver. In their structure, they don't throw too much to him. However, when they do give him the ball, he's very effective and dangerous.
Gene Johnson comes in, and Keith Johnson goes out. Gene Johnson is from Clinton, Michigan. Same town, same year as Rick Leach, the quarterback. Gordy Bell has a little hole and makes the best of it. Still on his feet, first down across the 40. Gordy Bell dragged down by number 7, Scott Hill, out of Hearst, Texas.
This is just a basic little straight-ahead eye play. Most of the action was all done by Gordy Bell. He finds just a little crack, cuts back around Dewey Selman, gets about 10 yards, and that's fine.
No score in this ball game. The ball is down to 42. First man through, and boy, can he move. That's Lytle, who was a tailback. Very fast starter. There is no score in this game, as we said, but the big score of the day, Ohio State 10 and UCLA 23 in the Rose Bowl.
Here you see a nice 5-yard play. Now, in order to get that without a great run by any one of the backs, you've got to get an awful lot of surge. Let's watch Jim Shear take Dewey Selman and actually puts him all the way past the ball carrier. That's just excellent offensive line play.
Gain of 5, second down 5 from the Michigan 47. Leach dropping back, looking across for Smith. Oh, he almost made a great catch, but was hit by Zach Henderson at the 34-yard line. Incomplete at his 3rd and 5.
What he actually did is he thought he was trying to make a safe catch. He tried to get both hands on the ball and give himself up. He doesn't miss many of those. The ball may have been just a little softer thrown than was necessary. He was so far open, I think Rick wanted to make sure he got him, and that's sometimes when you'll overthrow him or underthrow him.
Well, for a ball game in which we did not expect to see the ball in the air too often, we've seen it in the air plenty often. 3rd and 5. Rick Leach, Gordy Bell. Bell cuts inside. Bell dragged down by Jimbo Elrod. Does not have the first down at the 49-yard line.
Boy, that guy's dangerous. He came out there, everything was clogged up. He cut back, and if Elrod doesn't get a hold of him, that would have been a long gainer.
We have yet another punt. Don Anderson goes back. And yes, sir, number 24 is Joe Washington. Anderson kicking for the 3rd time. Zach Henderson is back with Washington. Rush is not on. Gets away a fine kick. Joe Washington back at the 10. Reversing field. Flag goes down, and Washington goes down inside the 10-yard line. There's a flag at the 13. And they'll chalk it over. Michigan's figuring it is against Oklahoma. Our referee tonight, as he's been for so many of these Orange Bowl games, is Pete Williams. On-time football star himself, talking with Joe Washington. It's a clip. Steve Davis along the sidelines. Barry Switzer is there, but Davis is talking to his offensive coordinator.
Oklahoma's not used to having to get that ball 90 yards down the field to score. If this game gets into a kicking contest, John Anderson sure gives Michigan an edge.
They mark the ball at the 8-yard line. And Davis trots into the huddle. 10:01 to go. We're in the first half. Now they take the ball back and mark it inside the 5.
I have a clip against the red team during the run back.
Again, Oklahoma. They have started from the 1 on one occasion, now from the 4. Michigan on one occasion started from its 5. Billy Brooks, number 82, comes wide right. And the officials are now sending them back into the huddle. And I didn't know that a time had been called. But apparently a time has been called, and so we'll take time out here at the Orange Bowl with no score, 10:01 to go, first half. Oklahoma with the football. Brooks comes out wide to the right. Luttrell, the first man through. Down he goes at the line of scrimmage. Devich is in there at the bottom, 55, and there's a lot of quickness in there, and Tim Davis alongside of Perlinger. This is the Michigan offensive squad being lectured to. Somebody's got to get something on the board to make something happen.
You bet, and running over the middle against Tim Davis is an awful tough way to get it.
Second down, 10. There's Davis going down near the goal line. Wow. There's Dan Jellick, who made the stop, number 81.
I think what that exposes most of all, Jim, is why they hate to run that sort of play down there by the goal line. Now they're in a position where possibly they can't. They need some penetration by their offensive line, because if a man slips through like he does now, ooh, that's awful close to a safety, and he had to do everything he could just to keep it from getting behind that white line.
Third down, and nearly 15 to go.
You might look for a little Joe Washington quick kick. Yep.
That's what you're going to get. Ready for it with number 17, Hicks. And Hicks with excellent coverage. Downfield by Billy Brooks is hit down, but Michigan has excellent field goal or field range at the 37.
We mentioned he might do this. However, this is not something that's so unexpected. Joe has done it over the year. In fact, he has over a 50-yard average under these conditions. The guy can do just about everything, and there's not much any team can do when they're on the 1-foot line.
First and 10 for the Wolverines of Michigan. 8:45 to go in the half. Nobody's come close to scoring yet. First man through is Lytle, and Lytle gets down to the 35-yard line. And Leroy Selman and Dewey Selman are right there.
Boy, it makes it tough going at this group. We'll take a look at Dewey and Leroy Selman. Leroy gets rid of the blocker, makes the contact at the line of scrimmage, and they're not going to pick up too many yards that way.
Second down and 8 to go. Gene Johnson comes in. Barry Switzer is the coach in the middle across the way. In his head coaching tenure with Oklahoma, he's lost only one game, and that was in '75 to Kansas. Oh, right off Anthony Bryant, number 71, goes Gordy Bell, and Bell gets inside of 35, down to the 33, where it'll be third down at about 7.
Boy, he and Elrod both just shot across that line of scrimmage before Bell could even get the ball. He made an excellent play just to get back to the line and pick up a yard or two.
Now Kurt Stevenson comes in, number 85. And Gene Johnson comes out. Keith Johnson and Jim Smith both wide to the left. Leach passing all the way, looking for Jim Smith. Can't get to it.
Just a simple little everybody out for a long one, and Jim Smith actually outran the secondary. both Henderson and Scott Hill had a pretty good position on him. However, he just straight on down the field, outrunning. Here you see Hill. The ball may have been a little overthrown, but a guy like Smith can come up with a few of those.
Zuber will hold, and Bob Wood will attempt a 51-yard field goal. And that is going to be way short, but will make it into the end zone, and thus will come out to the 20-yard line. First down and 10. And that is nearly as good as a punt. 7:19 to go, and here we are in the same old situation in the wonderful old Orange Bowl, Oklahoma and Michigan, no score. Today, January 1st, marks the start of NBC's 50th anniversary year and the introduction of our new corporate symbol. You'll be seeing a lot of the new symbol from now on, and we hope you'll come to associate it with the very best in broadcasting. The proud NBC has been an American tradition for 50 years, and we look forward to the next years ahead, the exciting challenges. First down 10. Here's Steve Davis pitching out to Joe Washington, and Washington rambles out near the 30-yard line. Knocked out of bounds at the 28 by Derek Howard, the sophomore from Hamilton, Ohio, number 10.
You'll notice that when they have the opportunity, Mike Vaughn is such a great tackle, gets his position so often. He may run the ball to the right more often than the left. However, and that time, Davis wanted to turn the ball up and run. He knew he had Joe out there, and finally just let him have it without much sideline to work with.
This is Oklahoma's 24th play of the game. Michigan has had 35. Luttrell gets the ball near the first down and the 30-yard line. Devich down at the bottom. Mo Morton also getting up. And Calvin O'Neill. Third down. They're not going to call for the measurement. Inches to go. Since it started at the 20, they know the nose of the football has to hit the 30. And it's just that short. Clock is running. 6:40 to go here in the first half. Tinker on goes wide left. Victor Hicks, tight end, is on this side. Davis has the first down. Tackled by another Davis, Tim Davis. Davis caught Davis.
Boy, they got enough surge out of their both offensive men, Terry Webb and Mike Vaughn that time. There wasn't much left to do, just fall forward.
First down from the 33-yard line.
Let's take a look at it. Here comes Vaughn, Webb, both of them. They just cave the people in, and Steve just falls on in there.
Davis throwing for Tinker Owens. He's got it. Second catch of the night. First down at the 48-yard line.
It's a beautiful throw. It's the second one he's made to Owens. It may go for naught, however, as there is a flag back there in the right where Steve was throwing the ball.
Should be holding. Oklahoma is marching back. Owens is walking back.
I think it's a pretty good indication that Michigan is making Oklahoma put the ball up in the air. They've got to give a little something away defensively in the backfield to stop this wishbone attack. They are doing that pretty effectively. You're going to have to leave some vulnerability somewhere.
Well, in talking to Barry Switzer the other day and asking about his passing game, he said, well, when you're 2nd and 5 and 2nd and 4, as we almost always are, or 3rd and 2, why should we throw the ball? Tonight they haven't had too many of those 2nd and 5.
Red team.
Or 3rd and 2s. Holding his charge, the ball goes back to the 18-yard line.
I can understand his logic. I want to see what he does when it's, now what is it, first down and 25?
28. First down, 28 to go. There's Luttrell going straight ahead for a couple of yards. The man they have not used tonight is a man from right here in Miami, Florida, and his friends been bugging him. Elvis Peacock is back home, and he's got friends he didn't know he had back here because they all wanted an Orange Bowl ticket. But Elvis Peacock has not handled a football tonight. He's got fine speed.
But when they go to the left and that wishbone gets into operation, he'll get plenty of opportunity. And before the evening's over, I'm sure we'll see a good bit of him.
Second down and about 22 to go. Ball is on the 21.5 of Oklahoma. All the way, he's to pass and puts it out there for Owens. Oh, my, what a catch. Tinker Owens makes one of those All-American catches.
Makes a superb catch, and it was a well-thrown ball by Davis. They knew they were going to throw. However, they did leave the middle of the field pretty well open. Owens just kind of plays off the defensive back, comes up with the ball. Let's take a look at him. Runs right at him, gets on him as fast as he can. Now he gets off him. That's just a fine. He's got it all the way.
Dwight Hicks was right with him, but there's not much you can do with that play, and it's first down Oklahoma at the Michigan 39. Billy Brooks has come in to replace Owens. And here's Brooks in the backfield, getting away, gets a great block across the 30. Brooks scores! 39-yard run. Oklahoma draws first blood.
Jimmy, that was something. The impressive thing about it is Michigan had a defense. They weren't as fooled as they were out executed. They had a man coming around the corner looking for him. He just absolutely juked him, and when he did, it set up the whole wall, ran it right in. That's a beautiful execution. Let's take a look. It's supposed to look like a wishbone play out to Peacock, who still hasn't carried the ball, but this isn't too bad right here. Brooks cuts up, gets right between Webb. Superb play.
Billy Brooks, the senior from Austin, Texas. A 39-yard run.
We're going to see it again, and I got to bet 2-1 he scores this time also. Just outdid the play itself. I think those great athletes can't make a nice play look great.
Davis to hold, and Tony DiRienzo puts it through. 5:07 to go. We are in the first half, and Oklahoma, looking for the national title, has scored first and leads Michigan 7-0. Jim Simpson and John Brody in the Orange Bowl in Miami.
Jim, I asked them earlier, what are they going to do on 1st and 25? They seem to have the answer for that one, too.
Pass to Owens, and the reverse to Brooks as Tony DiRienzo kicks it off, and Gordy Bell at the 1-yard line. 10. Bell gets across the 20 to about the 22, and now Michigan, with 5:01 to go, takes over the football. Tony Peters, well, that's his brother. Terry Peters made the tackle. Tony Peters is now in the National Football League. He graduated from Oklahoma a year ago. From the 21. Well, two outstanding plays. The catch by Tinker Owens, and give great credit, of course, to Steve Davis for having thrown it. And the run by Billy Brooks. The wide receivers, the split ends of Oklahoma, have put them out in front 7-0. Rick Leach turns it upfield, and not much running room at all as he gets from the 21 to the 24-yard line. Anthony Bryant is down at the bottom of the pile along with Jimbo Elrod. And it'll be second down and 7 to go. It's about this time that we not only anticipate the rest of the football game, but begin to look ahead to halftime. And the Orange Bowl pageant, always a well-kept secret of what it is, but being a bicentennial year, I think you can guess. Leach cuts inside Jimbo Elrod and gets up to the 30-yard line, and it's third down and about 1. 4:05 to go.
Actually, this play was pretty well executed. They've made 8 yards in 2 plays. That's about par for the course, and against Oklahoma, it's fine. But here's Jimbo Elrod trying to play this option play. He does it pretty well. You need some help. He did get a little from Anthony Bryant late. Good thing he got it.
Heath Johnson goes out wide to the right. Michigan has had its opportunities. Going deep into the end zone. Leach back to throw now for Johnson, and that will be out of bounds. And it'll be 4th down, and Michigan will have to kick the ball away.
Situation where had Leach been able to come off and look for Jim Smith underneath him, he'd have found him open. Pass rush is what keeps you from being able to look around too long, and that's what they had a lot of that time.
Don Anderson standing at about his 14-yard line, and Joe Washington is inside his own 35. Anderson gets away a fine kick, sending Joe Washington back inside his own 25-yard line, where he drops a football, still loose, and falls on it at the 20-yard line.
Did the right thing, because when that ball starts bouncing around on that turf, it can go anywhere. And I've seen a lot of backs try and make a great play out of a fumbled punt, and most of them go broke trying. This time Joe makes the first attempt to pick it up. He sees the crowd's getting a little close, falls on the ball. That's the way to make it.
Oh, when we come back, it's 1st and 10 Oklahoma at their own 20. They lead by the score of 7-0. 3:24 left in this first half. As Billy Brooks comes wide to the right. Luttrell gets across the 20-yard line where he's wrestled down by 3 or 4, including Calvin O'Neill. NBC launches its coverage of college basketball 76 Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Notre Dame and UCLA featuring Adrian Dantley of the Irish, Rich Washington of the NCAA champion Bruins. College basketball 76 series consists of 10 doubleheaders, 1 national game plus 8 regional games every Saturday. Also 2 Sunday national games. Complete coverage right through to the NCAA finals on March the 29th. You're on NBC Sports, #1 in live coverage of major sports events all year round. Davis pitching back. Elvis Peacock got his chance, but was run out of bounds.
They were just testing his balancing act, I believe, Jim, because he got the ball about a foot inside the line, still made 6 or 7 yards out of it. That's a nice play.
Derek Howard ran him out of bounds. It'll be 3rd down and 4 to go from the 26 of the Boomer Sooners, Oklahoma. 2:45 left. Temperature in the high 60s. Brooks wide right. On 3rd down, Davis back to throw. Cannot get away, does not get the first down, and Oklahoma will have to kick it back to Michigan. This has been a kicking game tonight.
It really has, but he'd have been able to pick up the needed yardage, I believe, but his offensive line was in there and kind of hung him up a little bit.
Now Jim Smith goes deep. Tinker Owens has made several catches tonight, including one outstanding catch that helped set up the touchdown. Stands back on his own 11 to do the kicking.
You can get a pretty good test just catching those snapbacks.
Michigan, a lot of people up front. Gets the kick away, and is taken by Dwight Hicks. Hicks is across the 45 to the 48-yard line, where with 2 minutes to go, Michigan's got the football. 1st down 10. On Sunday, the AFC Championship game plus grandstand. Before, during, and following the game, hosted by Jack Buck and Brian Gumbel. And I'm sure you know who's in there. The Oakland Raiders looking for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are the defending champions in the Super Bowl. That'll be right here on NBC Sports, #1 in live coverage of major sports events all year round. It'll start at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Keith Johnson, Jim Smith, both wide to the left. Rick Leach pitching back to Jim Smith and fooling nobody. Right there was Sidney Brown playing his cornerback spot, and Smith had no place to go.
Simple little misdirection play again, trying to get the flow slowed down by Oklahoma. They have been pursuing tremendously all night. It's the 3rd time they've given it to Smith on a similar type play, although all 3 of them were a little bit differently designed. That time it didn't work.
Loss of 5, 2nd down 15, a minute and a half to go. Johnson is to the right this time, Smith to the left. And Zach Henderson is playing center field in that Oklahoma defense. Leach putting it up for Smith. Over his head and off the hands of number 17, Jerry Anderson, who intercepted 5 during the regular season.
Just a little bit high. However, he was in the hole. If the ball had been thrown in the proper place, it would have been a big play.
3rd down. Rick Leach, a freshman in his first bowl game. Steve Davis, a senior in his first bowl game.
Rick's going to be in several more, and I know Steve is a good deal responsible for having gotten Oklahoma into this one.
Johnson right, Smith left. And Leach back to throw. Under pressure from Leroy, and now goes out of bounds. And wow, did Mr. Jerry Anderson let him have it as he went out of bounds.
That's paying the price. He didn't get out of bounds quite quick enough.
Takes the ball across the 45. Still a long way to go.
I don't think Bo's too happy about it either.
Saying a few words to one of the officials. That's Elzinga there, the backup quarterback, a junior. Don Anderson comes in to kick the ball away. Joe Washington is deep, along with Zach Henderson. Beautiful kick. Joe Washington says, I'll have a fair catch as it bounces inside the 10-yard line and will go out of bounds, I do believe, at the 11. 1:02 to go, and the Boomer Sooners of Oklahoma take over. There's Jim Smith along the sidelines as we look at the Michigan bench. Oklahoma has been waiting a long time to get here. Can you imagine quarterbacking a team having 31 wins, 1 loss and 1 tie, never having been in a bowl before. That's Steve Davis.
Well, if I could get 31-1, I'm not sure I'd care too much, Jimmy. Because
you might not have retired.
That's right. That's pretty good average.
Ball is on the 10. Tinker Owens comes wide right. Flag goes down as Luttrell carries the football for not much. Rick Leach is being ministered to here, and he is the one that got it as he went out of bounds. And that's why Bo Schembechler was talking, and that's why Elzinga was there. Leach is up and apparently all right, and he'll have nearly a half.
Got the offensive left hand on the red team, beating the snap.
5-yard penalty, which they refuse to make it 2nd down and 10. There's a freshman that started the first game of the year for Michigan and rode right with them.
A lot of other freshmen that have gone a long way this year for them, too, Jim.
Steve Davis, and down he goes. Fine play made by number 40, Mike Holmes. The right end.
I think they might call timeout.
They're calling time. Michigan is calling time with 31 seconds to go. Bo Schembechler talking to Dwight Hicks, who is a sophomore from Pensacola, New Jersey.
He has a definite message in mind, too, I believe.
There is talk about records. Look at that of Bo Schembechler. Since 1969, they've lost only to 1 team. That team lost today, the Buckeyes of Ohio State. In case you did not hear, UCLA 23-10, and as we told you, with Leach injured, Mark Elzinga, just in case, he's out of Bay City, Michigan, a junior, is warming up as Leach heads for the dressing room. Looks like he's still shaking a little bit. So Elzinga will warm up just in case they get the football in this half. Whether or not Leach can come back, we don't know. 3rd down. And a little bit more than 15 to go for Oklahoma. Michigan would like one more shot at the football in this half. Davis handing off to Elvis Peacock. Peacock knocked out of bounds, which stops the clock. He does not have the 1st down, and Oklahoma will have to punt the ball away with 25 seconds left to go in the half. The only score came with 5:07 to go in this first half. Tinker Owens made a superb catch at the 39. And on 1st down, the split end around, Billy Brooks took it 39 yards into the end zone. Tony D added the extra point, and that's where we are, 7-0.
Punting is very important right now, Jim. He's got to get that ball at least 30 yards down the field, or he can set something up for Michigan to get a field goal before half.
Dwight Hicks downfield. Ball is very short, and Michigan may have a shot because they're right down near the 30-yard line with 16 seconds to go. But it'll be Mark Elzinga, the junior from Bay City, who's only been in there enough to throw 19 times all year, who will be quarterbacking, and he's getting the word from Bo Schembechler.
And asking Bo earlier in the week about this guy's abilities, he says, hey, he's an excellent thrower. I asked if maybe he didn't throw a little more when he was playing. He said not necessarily. He's adapted well to our situation. He goes in, he does the same things that Rick does when he's playing, and it's just the ability he has to throw the ball very well.
All right, they send both Keith Johnson, 27, and Jim Smith, 37, wide to the left. Oh, Dewey Selman didn't like that. He came across and hit the man and then walked 10 yards deep in his own backfield.
And that's a big 5-yard penalty. He knew it, too, because that puts it in a very makeable range. See if we can't tell. Yep, we can. It's like he hit a hot stove. He bounced back so fast.
And, of course, when you say in range, you mean for a field goal.
That's right.
Takes the ball down to the 26-yard line. And now quickly, Kurt Stevenson comes in, number 85, and Spergy, a tight end, comes out. So we have Johnson and Stevenson, both wide receivers in there. Johnson and Smith are to the left, and Stevenson to the right. 1st down and 5. Elzinga back to throw, has the time, and looking, and it is incomplete. Intended for Jim Smith at the 10-yard line. Clock stops, 11 seconds to go in the half.
One of the few times tonight when either team has thrown that they didn't have a receiver open. That time Elzinga put the ball in the only place he could. Elrod was covering him very well short, and DP had nowhere to go.
Bob Wood, number 3, may have a shot at kicking a field goal from London, Ohio. Second down 5. Elzinger's going to put it up again. Oh, he's wide open, Smith! And he overthrew him as he walked right into the coverage of number 17, Anderson. Had he continued straight down, but that's where the ball was thrown. And that stops the clock and might bring on Bob Wood.
I think it will. There actually, Anderson was dropping back, and he had the play, I thought, pretty well covered. It was hard to see him in the corner of that end zone back there, but that's about the only coverage he had to make sure he had. Anything but a touchdown was fine by Oklahoma.
Well, they will spot this ball at about the 36. So it will be a 46-yard attempt or thereabouts. 7-0. The Michigan fans everywhere a little upset that Rick Leach has been led to the dressing room. Larry Zuber, 8, is the holder. Bob Wood is the field goal kicker.
Jim mentioned earlier that it sets him up in a pretty good field goal position. He now only has 43 yards to actually complete, and that's a big difference from 48.
They're getting the screen up behind the goalposts, and Michigan, with 6 seconds to go, would like to get something on the board. They've come close tonight, but Oklahoma's the only team that has scored, and there's no doubt about that. And Billy Brooks rambled those 39 yards. From 43 yards out, and it is not going to be enough. And the half ends, and you've got the score. Rick Leach is in the dressing room. Michigan goes to the dressing room with no score, but Oklahoma, with the possibility of winning the national championship tonight since Ohio State lost, leads 7-0. Back in Miami, Jim Simpson with John Brody. Here comes the Boomer Sooner team of Oklahoma and the Wolverines of Michigan. Halftime, Oklahoma leading by the score of 7-0. And another tremendous halftime ceremony. And we can see the national championship decided here in the second half, John Brody.
Well, Jim, I'll tell you, you can walk around this town with goose pimples for a week or so having watched that halftime ceremony. And there's a few people a little uptight about the second half of this ball game. The ironic thing is that both teams have really moved the ball about evenly as far as any statistical data is concerned on the ground. However, in the air, the defense for Oklahoma has slipped Michigan the donut. They haven't completed a pass yet. On the other side of the ledger, Steve Davis being 2 for 3 in the first half for 51 yards. That statistic doesn't seem like much, but it was the real contributor in the one drive that was made tonight.
Well, the top 4 college football teams, Ohio State, that'll change after their loss today to UCLA 23-10. Oklahoma, which leads here, Alabama, which knocked off Penn State in the Sugar Bowl last night, and Michigan, which is here. 2 of the 4 are here.
Choice at the beginning of the game, it's Oklahoma's choice, and they want the football. Which end will you defend? Defend that goal. Put your backs to the goal, please. All right, shake hands and good luck to you, gang.
Well, with all of the upsets we have had in this postseason bowl lineup, the top 10 will change appreciably after they're all over. Now, again, here are the statistics that John was talking about.
I think we can see very basically that rushing the ball, both teams have been effective but not overwhelming. Throwing the ball is what's made the difference, and I don't think many people expected it, particularly from Oklahoma.
Steve Davis, 2 out of 3. Rick Leach, 0 for 9. And we're scanning the sidelines now to see if Leach has come back onto the field. He was shaken up just before the end of the first half. And Elzinga had to go in. But that's academic for the moment because Oklahoma will get the football first. Joe Washington is back deep. And Elvis Peacock is back deep. And Bob Wood will kick it off. Washington 24, Peacock number 4. 7-0 on the 39-yard run of Billy Brooks with 5 minutes and 7 seconds to go in the first half. That's Bob Wood who will kick it off. taken by one of the up men, and that is Luttrell, and Luttrell is across the 35-yard line and out to the 38. Steve Davis, number 5, in the backfield with Joe Washington, 24, Jim Luttrell, 42, Elvis Peacock, number 4, Tinker Owens, 11, Billy Brooks, 82, alternate at the split end, Victor Hicks, number 80 at tight end, Aldous Weiler and the USS Vaughn at the tackles, Ches Evans and All-American Terry Webb at guards, and Dennis Buchanan is at center. Angelic, Jeff Perlinger, Tim Davis, Mo Morton, Mike Holmes, the forward wall for Michigan, Calvin O'Neill, Dave Devich, the linebackers, Don Dufek is the Wolfman, Howard, Hicks, and Pickens, the deep man. Joe Washington and hemmed in as he gets to the 40-yard line. It'll be second down and 7.
Starting out the second half just like the first, running down the line. They've got the ball in good field position. It seems like Davis wants to turn the ball up. It looks from the defensive structure that that's what they're going to make him do. However, that time they didn't. He was a little late throwing the ball to Joe, and that's why he couldn't get any running room.
Second and 8 from the Oklahoma 39 with Tinker Owens going wide left. Pitch out to Peacock. Calvin O'Neill is there and makes the stop, and the flag goes down at the 38-yard line. Calvin O'Neill, leading the club in tackles in the preseason. Number 96 made the stop. And here's Pete Williams. Holding charge against Oklahoma.
They almost came up with the ball, too. If Davis hadn't made a real quick decision to get that ball outside, he had enough penetration to make him cough it up.
You know, we've been talking about the fact that should Oklahoma win here tonight, that it could be voted the national champion. The people in Arizona, I would imagine, are saying at this time, hey, what about us? We are undefeated, and we knocked off Nebraska. As I said, that's up to the voters, not up to us.
Yeah, we're not in that category. I think we opened our mouth enough last year.
Dewey and Leroy Selman along the sidelines. And they're still making the decision, and now they make the decision to take the big penalty. Takes the ball back inside the 25 to the 23.
And the holding against number 24 of the red team.
Joe Washington is fingered for that one. On his second down and long yardage. About 24. Joe Washington. Oh, fine play made by Dan Jellick, number 81, or else Washington might have gone for a lot more.
Well, if Jellick hadn't made that play, he's exciting, Washington, when he gets the ball. Jellick was in just the right position. Had he gotten loose, there wasn't much left back there.
Third down and 21. Tinker Owens made several superb catches. Wide to the right, Jim Bolden over there with him. Steve Davis going to run, apparently, and no, sir. He'll be knocked down at the 26-yard line. It'll be fourth down, and they'll kick the ball away to Michigan.
They're stringing it out awfully well. Now, Michigan hasn't played against the wishbone offense much this year, and there was a little speculation as to how well they would defense it. That is one offense they have defensed pretty well tonight, and Don Dufek has been doing his job every time out of the box. We'll take a look. Peacock comes down, throws the block. Now, the reason the ball isn't thrown out to Washington any earlier is they can't get any opening to throw it out there. Dufek's been carrying it down the line. Just a good job by everybody.
Morton Holmes made the stop as Owens kicks the ball away. White Hicks takes the fair catch at the 38-yard line. And now Michigan will go onto the field. Gordy Bell is out there. Rob Lytle is out there. And Mark Elzinga will go out there. Rick Leach. We've not heard from Michigan yet, but Leach.
How's everybody?
The second half. That'll be Gordy Bell, number 5. Lytle, 41. Jim Smith, 37. And Elzinga, 16. Elzinga cutting up and getting some tough yardage across the 40 to the 43. Keith Johnson, 27. Mark Spergy, 82, the tight ends. Steve King, Mark Donahue, Jim Sear, Walt Downing, Bill Dufek. The forward wall, that's Steve Davis on the far side. Mike Phillips, Roy Selman, Dewey Selman, Anthony Bryant, Jimbo Elrod, the front 5 for Oklahoma. Jamie Thomas and Bill Doakey are the linebackers. Sidney Brown and Jerry Anderson, the corners. Scott Hill and Zach Henderson, the safeties. It is second down and about 5. 7-0 Oklahoma early in the second half. Gordy Bell twists out near the first down at the 48-yard line.
That's good offensive surge, Jim, on both plays. The first play, including Mark Donahue and Steve King, they really did a good job. Right down the left side of the line, they got the defense moved back, and Elzinger was able to pick up 5 yards before anybody really got a good piece of him. On that play, Gordon Bell picked up most of it on his own, but that's the way Michigan's going to have to move the ball if they're going to get back in this game.
Richard Murray, a sophomore from Greenville, Texas, number 76, comes in as a 6th man up front on 3rd down and short. And Elzinger may have taken too much time, and it'll be 3rd down and about 6 instead of 3rd and 1. And that's what happened.
I wonder how much of that was due to the fact that Elzinger went up and looked for something and was about ready to make an audible.
Well, they had 6 men up front with that 6th lineman, and they had taken out Scott Hill.
That's what causes you to do a little thinking.
11:57 to go in the 3rd quarter. Ball now at the 43.
Delay against the white team.
We are checking with the Michigan representatives in the press box to find out what about freshman Rick Leach.
I can't even find him out there, Jim.
3rd and about 6. Elzinger under tremendous pressure from Leroy Selman on his feet and does not have the first down, I don't believe, across the 45 to about the 47.
Elzinger turned a pretty good loss into a fine gain that time. He showed that he is very movable out there. He can, or I shouldn't say movable, that he moves very well. And boy, it's required when you're playing those red shirts.
John Anderson is going back to punt. The injury report we have now on Rick Leach is a slight concussion. So Washington, one of the deep men. This is the 6th punt of the night for Anderson. It took a long time. It got it very high. Washington has to call for the fair catch and does in a crowd at the 22-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Oklahoma. 11:27 to go, 3rd quarter. Score remains the same. Sooners 7, Wolverines nothing. 80,307 are here in the Orange Bowl tonight, looking at the possibility that the Sooners might win this national championship. A long way to go, and Michigan's awfully tough. Jeff Culbreth is in there now. That is guess who? That guard makes the stop. Culbreth, number 41, is a walk-on. And when they offered him a scholarship road, he said, I don't need it, you keep it.
Well, he said that because they only have X amount of scholarships to give. He came on there, and since he only had 1 or 2 years to play under that condition, he just let him give it to some other fellow that could go for 4, and they said he's been a real help with them.
2nd down and 4 to go from the 28. Culbreth has lost the football. Belongs to Michigan. Culbreth lost the football, belongs to Michigan. Dan Jellick recovers at the 26-yard line. And Jellick better watch out or his teammates will put him out of the game.
I know, I saw Bill Donkey get so excited he almost got injured.
Culbreth fumbles. Jellick picks it up.
Let's take a look here. You can see Bowen's been doing a fine job offensively of moving people out of there. However, that time the Michigan left side of the line just penetrated too fast. Made the turnover, and that's the way the game's going.
George Wyszkowski is in for the first time tonight at tight end. Elzinger pitches back to Gordy Bell. Locker in front of him, and Bell gets down to the 20-yard line. Oklahoma leads by 7, but here come the Wolverines of Michigan.
And they did something that time. They jumped everybody out on the field, got started real fast. Before, I think, Oklahoma really got set. It's the best opening that Gordon Bell has had to run with the ball, even though he only picked up 5 yards.
Keith Johnson, 27, comes in, and Wyszkowski comes out. Johnson goes wide to the right. Jim Smith wide to the left. 2nd down and about 4. Elzinger looks like a mix-up to me, no matter he picks up a couple of yards to the 18. Where he's run out of bounds there by number 40, Bill Dalkey.
There's little doubt there was a mix-up. I don't think he's picking any odds at where he's won against 5 people. The play was designed for an option to go to the left side. He turned out, got a little mixed up. He really made a pretty good play out of an awful one. You can see here he fakes it to Lytle, gets out there, puts a few moves on. However, he's not fooling the whole group.
Well, Mark Schmerke, the freshman from Cincinnati, is on the sidelines, and they're working on his left shoulder. Third down, short yardage. Elzinga carries the football very close to the first down, but it looks like he is a little bit shy at the 18-yard line. Dewey Selman, Jimbo Elrod, 2 All-Americans. There's Schmerke, and that's the left shoulder they're working on. Fourth down. Keith Johnson comes in. Michigan obviously is going to go for it. And again, Richard Murray comes in as a 6th lineman. Scott Hill comes out of the Oklahoma defense. Fourth down to the yard. Elzinga says, I can't hear, Coach. Pistol Pete Williams will discuss the facts of a big crowd to him. Here are the officials yelling, we need some help with the noise. He means to cut it down. Now Jim Smith is going to come back in, apparently with another play, and Keith Johnson will go out. All right, 4th and a yard, and now Murray goes out, and Scott Hill, the other safety man, comes back in as Jim Smith checked in. Elzinga keeps. He's got the first down, I do believe, at the 15-yard line. Hit by Jimbo Elrod, but Mark Elzinga of Bay City makes the first down.
Okay, he takes off, simple little option play again. He finds a little penetration. When I say little, I do mean just a small spot up there in the left side of the line. Takes it, he makes it by about a football length. That's about all he had to make it, though.
9:07 to go. We're in the third quarter. The Sooners of Oklahoma lead 7-0. The Wolverines of Michigan are on the march. Smith goes wide to the right. Johnson comes to the left. Elzinga keeps the football himself and gets down to the 12-yard line, where Mike Holmes, or rather Bill Dalkey, made the stop. Number 40.
Little counter play, Jim. We haven't seen it all night. It may be the same play that was supposed to happen on the previous time when it looked like he was all alone out there. This time, Gordon Bell came with him, and he did have the option of throwing it out to him if he hadn't found a little hole.
Kurt Stevenson from La Jolla, California, sophomore, 85, checks in. Johnson comes out. It'll be second down and about 6 from the 12. Jim Smith wide right, Stevenson to the left. Elzinga to Gordy Bell. Bell has some blocking. It gets down inside the 9-yard line to perhaps the 8. Well, it'll be third and about 3. Mike Phillips, number 89, Dewey Selman, 91, in on the tackle.
I'll tell you also, Walt Downing and Bill Dufek put a good offensive surge on. He didn't get as many yards as he'd like, but those guys are moving pretty well right now.
Richard Murray back into that front 6 now of Oklahoma. Scott Hill is out. Third and 3. A quick pitch to Gordy Bell, trying to get around the corner. He throws. It's intercepted in the end zone by Sidney Brown, who's thrown out of bounds.
And Sidney Brown decided to try and run it out of there. Got stopped on the 1-yard line, I believe.
That's where they'll mark it. He was in the end zone. Could have come out to the 20, but they'll mark it at the 1.
Take a look from ground level. This is what it looks like to a man that's trying to throw a forward pass, especially at 5'8" or 9. It was predetermined to throw the ball. He didn't pull Sidney Brown, however, and that's the way it goes.
They're bringing the ball out to the 20-yard line, and that brings the ire of the Michigan fans, saying, "How come?" 7:31 to go. And we'll come back. The Sooners have the football and the lead, 7-0. Michigan fans want to know how come. Well, John Brody knows how come they marked it at the 20.
I do now, but I didn't just a minute ago, Jim. He took it just out of the end zone, but in college football, anytime the ball is in the end zone, you cannot run it out. It was ruled just a touchback, and these fans went a little wild for a while because anybody could see he was knocked out on the 1-yard line. However, he could not get charged.
Rick Leach is back, and looks like he will not be back in there, does it? He still looks a little wobbly. Fans still don't understand the ruling, but that's the ruling, and Oklahoma does deserve the football at the 20 on the interception by Sidney Brown. And it's the Michigan end of the field that's setting up the hoopla right now, forcing the Oklahoma Sooners back into the huddle. Well, while we wait, we'll remind you that Sunday We go out of the frying pan into the fire. We go to Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, and Oakland will be there against Pittsburgh for the AFC Championship. And remember Grandstand, before, during, and following the game with Jack Buck and Brian Gumbel. Sidney Brown's happy. He doesn't care. He knows the rule. Straight ahead goes Culbreth. Across the 30, first down at the 34. Jellick makes the stop, along with Jim Pickens.
Boy, that was an excellent run. You know he's still just a little bit fried from the previous fumble. You can't make up for it all at once, but that's a pretty good start.
Michigan has had opportunities tonight, but the likes of Leroy Selman and company have kept them out of there. You think Leroy knows he's on camera?
And he's got the reputation for being mean.
Oh, boarding through Joe Washington across the 40 to the 42. Jim Pickens again in on the stop.
Take another look right over the top of Mike Vaughn again. He gets in. Just give that man a crack, and he's going to make something of it. That's just a nice open field, broken 8-yard run.
Mike Holmes, a senior from Akron, is saying, come on, man, let's stop him. It's second down and 2. Second man through again, Joe Washington across the 45, first down, Oklahoma at the 47.
You can feel things starting to break right now, Jim. It's the first time that in a long while that Oklahoma really gave you the feeling that they were going to move the ball on offense, and you can just kind of feel it in the whole stadium.
Gopworth goes out, and Luttrell, 42, comes in. The silver shoes of Joe Washington, and I'm informed they are hand-painted.
I don't think the manufacturers make those.
Davis going to throw on first down and gets it out there, and there's the man again. Tinker Owens, run out of bounds by Dwight Hicks. First down at the 40.
And Dwight Hicks has an awful tough job, as little as Oklahoma is throwing the ball. When they do, it's really set up perfectly, and Davis puts the ball right on the money. As you can see here, he's got everything going for him. Perfect situation to throw the play pass. Puts the ball on the money. Owens he's open because he's all alone, and that's a tough way to have to cover a man.
Elvis Peacock of Miami takes the ball down to the 35. Well, Barry Switzer said we're all alone out here. Kansas lost, Colorado lost, Nebraska lost. And here he said we are the Big 8 champions, co-champions, and we are here. And we're all alone. Michigan making its first appearance outside of the Rose Bowl, trailing 7-0. And Oklahoma, I'm sure you know, was the preseason pick to be #1 in the country. Due to the loss of Ohio State this afternoon, that could happen in the final voting. Luttrell. Ball is loose.
Okay.
Ball belongs to Michigan. Another fumble. Joe Washington fumbled the football. And Michigan gets yet another chance. Calvin O'Neill and Mike Holmes come over thrilled. Ball at the 34-yard line.
Let's take a look. Here you see Elvis Peacock coming right into the hole. Looked to me like Jellick made a real fine play to tip the ball over. Then that ball draws a crowd once you let it go.
Credit that fumble to Peacock, and credit the fumble recovery to Calvin O'Neill. First down from a 34. Gordy Bell, he has been hamstrung most of the evening. He's been exciting, but he hasn't picked up too much yardage. He's at the 35, second and 9. Barry Switzer. Gordy Bell, who gained nearly 1,400 yards, has 34 thus far tonight. Second down and nearly 10 to go. 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. E. Johnson comes to the left. Jim Smith flanks left. Elzinger in there. Going back, look out. Mark Elzinger gets the ball up and out of bounds. Dropping off was Dwayne Backus to defend.
That's what happened with those second down 10 play action passes. He had nobody in his hair but all 5 defensive linemen, and he did the best thing he could by throwing the ball out of bounds.
Well, in the first half, Michigan was 0 for 9 passing. They're now 0 for 11. Third down and about 10 to go. Johnson again wide left. Elzinger, the junior, filling in for the freshman Rick Leach, who has a concussion. Elzinga. Look out. There he goes. Jimbo Elrod, Leroy Selman. 2 All-Americans, including the Outland Trophy winner.
Even though he had a good rush that time, he had no one open. They're getting in there so fast that they're not allowing any of the Michigan receivers to really get into their patterns. We take a quick look here, and we can see Leroy Selman just discarding the offensive lineman, and he isn't even the first man back there.
Don Anderson to kick the ball away to Joe Washington and Zach Henderson. Anderson now standing inside his 10. They recovered the fumble at the 34. Another fine kick by Anderson. Joe Washington calls for the fair catch at the 36, but back in the 26-yard line of Michigan, a flag is down. Personal foul, looks like. We'll hear the words of Pete Williams, and he'll tell us. I hope we hear the words of Pete Williams, and he tells us. Talking things over with Don Dufek, the All-American and defensive captain.
This must be some kind of penalty. It's taken about a minute to explain it.
Dufek yelling to the sidelines. The Bo Schembechler.
It wasn't a very good punt. I do believe if Michigan gets an opportunity, they will take the penalty, even if they have to punt again. And it goes in without saying, these two teams have different viewpoints about how they do punt the ball. Oklahoma tries to hold up everybody at the line of scrimmage, which really gives the punter a whole lot more time with which to kick the ball. On the other side of the coin, Michigan shoots everybody in at the punter.
Got illegal participation by the red team. They had 12 men on the field, and all of them participating in the play.
All the words are getting long.
Oh, Anderson will kick the ball away again. 12 men on the field. They had too many folks.
Gives you a definite edge, though.
That's how one team, Kansas, lost an Orange Bowl here one year, and Penn State won it. 12 men on the field. Anderson gets this one away, shanking it off to the right. And it goes out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. They'll mark it at the 32. 3:57 to go, third quarter. 7-0 Oklahoma. Let's go down memory lane and the previous Orange Bowls once more. Jim Simpson, John Brody. Rick Leach tries to walk it off on the sidelines, and down at the end zone to our left, the Oklahoma band is yelling, "Let's go Big Red." The Sooners have the football on their own 32. Davis throwing on first down, or trying to. Moving out, stepping inside beautifully across the line of scrimmage. And Calvin O'Neill makes the stop at the 40. A pickup of 8. It'll be 2nd down and 2. .38 to go, third quarter.
Let's take a look at Calvin O'Neill. He's the man that always plays on the wide side of the field, which means he's the guy that's always in most of the action, particularly as Oklahoma plays it. Drops back because he knows it's a pass. Now when Davis takes off to run, he's a very sure tackler, and tough to get out of that man's grasp.
2nd and short yardage. Billy Brooks is in this wide to the left. Alworth is the first man through, and he may have the first down out near the 44-yard line. Going back by Perlinger and Devich. It is a first down. Well, Oklahoma lost only one. That was to Kansas, when they turned the ball over no less than 8 times. Right? They've been holding on to that football, and they've got the lead 7-0. Albrith, fake to him. Davis with the football. Davis with another first down. Pitching out to Peacock.
That just takes good ability to retain who's coming around and when you can throw it to him. That time Davis cut upfield, made a perfect break. He knew Peacock was coming around later. He cut to the outside, did give him the ball, but just wasn't quite enough room left. Here you see him jump up inside. Now that draws everybody in. He throws the ball out to Elvis just a little bit late. Pretty good play.
Oklahoma on the march at the 43. Alfred with the football, and now they're beginning to chew up huge chunks of that Michigan defensive line as they move the ball inside the 35. Dufek and Pickens in on the stop, and there is Leach up and throwing again. We may see Rick Leach come in, but it's second down and 3, Oklahoma.
You mentioned he had a slight concussion. I wonder if they asked Rick about that.
Brooks to the right. Davis steps over one man and just does get back to the line of scrimmage. So now it is 3rd and 2. Erlinger out there to make the stop, number 97. Time is running out here in the 3rd quarter. You should have seen the excitement here, as many of the fans were watching one of our television monitors on the field when UCLA was upsetting Ohio State. Nearly everyone in the stands knew what was happening, and finally the public address announcer before the game announced what happened. Number 1 Ohio State had been upset. 3rd down and about 4 to go. The ball on the Michigan 36-yard line with 1:36 to go to 3rd quarter. Billy Brooks remains in. He has scored the only touchdown of the ball game. He comes wide to the right. Steve Davis cuts inside. 1st down, Steve Davis inside. Ball is loose and knocked out of bounds, but it'll belong to Oklahoma at the 20-yard line.
Nice way to gain an extra 8 yards.
1st and 10 from the 20 for Steve Davis.
He made an excellent play. Make the ball to Culbreth, comes around. He's got Joe Washington, and you know the donkey isn't going to let him get away. Cuts it up inside, gets the 1st down before he fumbles. Joe tries to pick it up on the run, but he does move it 8 yards.
Brooks goes wide to the left. Hicks, the tight end, has split a couple of yards to the left. First man through is Culbreth, and he gets down to about the 17-yard line. Dave Devich, number 55, is at the bottom of that pile. And it'll be 2nd down and 7 to go. A lot of time left, and I'm sure you've been watching with us as Rick Leach along the sidelines. Obviously, still not quite all here, trying to shake it off a little bit. Throwing the ball, warming up. He may come back in the ball game, and he may not. Brooks to the left. Peacock and Washington and Davis have gone the whole way. Culbreth has been in there a little bit for Luttrell. Davis pitching up to Peacock, picks it up on a perfect bounce, and goes down to about the 1 or 2 yard line, but the flag is back upfield at the 15. So hold everything as Oklahoma walks backwards.
It looked to me like Billy Brooks put a little clip and got him just in the back trying to help out Elvis, and if so, it really takes him out of great field position.
You know, Bro, it's often been said that football is an oblong-shaped object, and it very seldom takes a true bounce. But you and I have seen a bundle of ball games this year where the ball has gone down and bounced right back to the man.
Well, particularly that one. That hit him right on the dead run.
We're going to clip against number 82 of the red team.
That's who it was. Billy Brooks takes the ball back to the 30.
Let's take a look at Dufek. His responsibility on this play is to jump up in Steve's face as fast as he can and make him pitch the ball out. Hope he gets a little pursuit to help him. That time he did his job.
2nd down and 20 to go. 45 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Now Victor Hicks, the freshman from Lubbock, Texas, is told to get to the other side. Davis going straight back. Jellick is coming, hits him as he throws. Ball is knocked away beautifully by Hicks, intended for Brooks at the 5-yard line. Dwight Hicks from Pensacola, New Jersey, the sophomore, did an outstanding job.
And he made a great play. Brooks really wasn't open. He was trying to run right through that zone defense. The man that really made the play was Jellick. He got on Steve before he could really let the play develop and throw the ball over the top, and you sure need that rush.
3rd down and 20. 39 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. Davis is 3 of 5 for 63 yards. Michigan has yet to complete a pass. First man through Culbreth. Look out, Dufek chasing him. Has him inside the 10. 1st down, Oklahoma.
Just a nice little 3rd and 20 right through the middle job. It takes ability to make those things work, and Culbreth really did the job. Let's take a look from the end zone. You can see, looks like a trap in which Culbreth might have been caught right at the line of scrimmage when he did break it, since Michigan had about 9 men up in front. It was pretty clear sailing. He made it just by a yard.
First and goal to go, and with just about a quarter left, Oklahoma can go a long way toward a possible, and you might say probable, national championship if they can score here. Elberth went down in a hurry. Matter of fact, he lost about a half a yard, and that's going to be the last play of this, the third quarter. That's it. Well, we'll come back to the Orange Bowl in Miami. It's a delightful night. It's a big game, and it's 7-0 Oklahoma with 15 minutes to go. Tommy Nova's talking about his play here in the Orange Bowl, talking about defense. He should have seen tonight's game.
He should have. I tell you, Tommy Novus is finally getting into a situation where he's got a team that might be a contender, too, Jim. He's been a good defensive player with a good defense for a long time.
Second down and 10 to go for Oklahoma. Steve Davis carrying the football, and Davis, he scores! Steve Davis makes it 13-0, Oklahoma on a 10-yard run.
Jim, they put that pressure on you all night long. Eventually, something's got to give. Steve's been running both sides of the line. I mentioned he likes to run the ball to the right. This, it seems like it makes no difference. He gets a lot of commitment, makes an excellent play, tippy-toes it in the end zone, and things are looking good down in Oklahoma.
Tony DiRienzo, Tony D, as they call him, is already out, setting up to kick the extra point. The hold will be Davis. It is good. 14 minutes, 56 seconds to go in the ball game. And Oklahoma, the Boomer Sooners lead the Wolverines of Michigan 14-0. The Sooners of Oklahoma marched 12 plays, 68 yards. Davis going over from 10 yards out. It's 14-0. But we've got nearly a quarter football to go. Tony D will kick it off. Gordon Bell back near his own goal line, deep. It will be taken by the up man, Lytle. Lytle gets out across the 30-yard line, and we believe that it'll be Rick Leach coming back in. He has not yet come on the field, and now Rick Leach does come back in, and the Michigan fans see it. Suffered a slight concussion just before the end of the first half. Mark Elsing has been in there since. Now Leach has a big job ahead of himself, and so do the Wolverines. Oklahoma looks mighty tough, don't they? Keith Johnson wide to the right. Jim Smith cutting inside and gets about 4 yards to the 35-yard line. Jimbo Elrod is over there along with Anthony Bryant and Bill Dalkey. Second down and 6.
Seems like most of Michigan's success has been on misdirection plays. That's another one. That's the third out of 4 that he's carried that have been pretty good for him. However, if you do look at the total yards difference, it's pretty awesome now with Oklahoma maintaining the ball as long as they have.
George Brzezowski has come in as a receiver for the Michigan Wolverines. Pitch back. Gordy Bell turning upfield. Oh, my, what an exciting runner as he gets to the 40-yard line and very close to the first down. It'll be third down and about a yard. Dewey Selman and Anthony Bryant came over to make the tackle. Not only does she have a cast on jumping around here, but we saw her march in the parade last night.
Yeah, she put about 4 miles of real work in last night.
Didn't care. Third down on the yard when it's 14-0, nothing hurts. Leach turns it himself and has the first down. Leach still on his feet. Sidney Brown makes the stop at midfield. Jim Smith and Rob Lytle are talking to one another about Gordy Bell is farther down the field, and it might be about a blocking assignment somewhere along the way. But in any event, it's a first down.
They certainly have a lot of time to get it straight because it didn't affect the play. That time I know Leach was just waiting to get a good lick. It didn't come when he straightened up. They finally got him.
Oklahoma says we're number 1, but there's nearly 13 minutes to go.
You bet there is. This game is a long way from over.
Jim Smith in motion. First down, and he throws the ball away, and Gordy Bell gets on it at the 35-yard line. Leach was hit. Wayne Backus, the big junior defensive end from Brooksville, Texas, came in, Brownfield, Texas, and that's what caused it.
Yeah, Rick really didn't even have a chance to make a move to Bell on the play. Backus was in there so fast, he was not intending to have to key on that man. However, that's the way it worked out.
That's a loss of about 13 yards. Second down and 23. Backus has been playing much of that left side tonight for Oklahoma here in the second half. Mike Phillips started there. Straight ahead goes Rob Lytle, and for not too much. It'll be third down and more than 20 yards to go. Leading the way was Mark Donahue, a sophomore. Take a look at that Michigan offensive line. They have 3 sophomores and 1 freshman. And they're going up against the Selman brothers and another All-American by the name of Jimbo Elrod. Third and 20. Leach. Going to run, but he's got a long way to go and isn't going to make it. As he gets out to the 45-yard line, it's fourth down and about 15 to go.
That's one of the few times that I've seen Oklahoma go into a prevent. They did it one time before the half. Boy, they still get a good pass rush.
John Anderson comes on to punt the ball away. And Joe Washington goes deep. Anderson stepping on his own 31-yard line. Takes his time. Gets the boot away. Washington is going to try to run it back. Going up that right side. And down he goes at about the 21-yard line. Ball is loose. Oklahoma on it. That's the second time in the last 5 minutes there's been a ball fumbled forward like that, and there's a flag back at the 23-yard line. So let him walk back.
Terry Peters is down there. He's really hurting. He was the one that fell on the fumble originally, and then once you don't get it clean, you have a whole pack of pals willing to help you out.
Clip is called against Oklahoma. Sooners lead by 14. We've got nearly 11 minutes to go. And that is Terry Peters along the sideline, injured just under that right knee, or maybe along the knee. Ball being stepped off now, back inside the 15, back to the 11-yard line, where the Sooners have it first and 10.
What a clipping against number 57 of the red team.
Penalty call against Obi Moore, reserve linebacker, on the return. Steve Davis has scored from 10 yards out tonight. The other touchdown, Billy Brooks, from 39 yards out tonight. Michigan has come close on some occasions. Passes in the end zone that have just been knocked away. Tinker Owens, wide left. Steve Davis pitching out and running out of bounds is Joe Washington. They'll mark that at the 16-yard line, and that'll be a gain of 5, second and 5. Clock is stopped. Well, what a day in football it has been. The Miami newspapers have been full of conjecture. What would happen if UCLA upset Ohio State? Well, UCLA did, and we'll find out what happens. Throw way back, the fullback. Culbert, the walk-on from Yeadon, Pennsylvania. And Mo Morton got an outstanding first quarter and has played well all evening long. The junior from Akron, Ohio, made the stop. And it's third down, and Michigan wants that football back. 3rd and 5. Tinker Owens back in and goes wide to the right. Steve Davis wrestled down by Perlinger, and it's 4th down. Number 97, Jeff Perlinger from Bristol, Minnesota.
Again, they're putting the pressure on that punting team. They've had several blocks during the year, and this would be a very inopportune time for the Big Red to have one of those things happen. You can bet Tinker Owens is going to get rid of that thing almost as fast as he catches it.
Jim Smith, Dwight Hicks, 37-17, twin safeties at about midfield. Owens in his own end zone. High pass from center. Gets the ball away, not very far. But it is picked up by Hicks, and down he goes. Dragged down very quickly by number 74, Phil Tabor, reserve defensive tackle. And it'll be first down, Oklahoma, at the 43 of Michigan with 9:28 to go in the game. Sooners 14, Wolverines nothing. From the 43, Rick Leach is in there. Gordy Bell trying to get something going. Selman, Dewey trailed him all the way. Leach picked up about 4 to 5 yards inside the 40. And Dewey Selman, trailing on the play, along with Sidney Brown, made the stop.
Tell you, he made most of those 5 on his own. Seems like every time they get wide and things look like they're about to open up, 5 or 6 people are converging on him, and that's possibly why the misdirection plays have worked. I do have the feeling they're going to have to put the ball up some, Jim. I know they don't like to, but looks like about that time in the game.
Wayne Backus, Leroy, and Dewey Selman, Anthony Bryant, and Jimbo Elrod, that front 5 for Oklahoma. There is Gordy Bell breaking into the secondary and has the first down near the 32-yard line. And around that man and around that ball again is Leroy Selman. There are those who say that when it comes to the National Football League draft, Mr. Selman will be absolutely the #1 pick of Tampa Bay. They have the first pick. Gene Johnson, 88, comes in, a freshman from Flint. Rick Leach territory. Keith Johnson left. Here comes Jim Smith, and there's Jimbo Elrod to throw him at the 36-yard line.
And you know he was looking for it. As soon as Smith took a step, Elrod went right along with him. That is generally not his responsibility, but they had to find a way to stop it somehow. Let's take a look at Smith. If we take a look at our screen, we're going to see Elrod coming in right behind him. Makes a great play. There's nobody responsible to block that man.
That woke up all the friends of the Elrods in Tulsa, where he's from, around the state. Michigan 0 for 11. Second down and 14 to go, and Leach is going to try to complete one here. Throwing it down and way out of bounds across the way, intended for Keith Johnson, number 27.
The ball never had a chance. He was trying to hit Keith going right down the sideline. Any movement over the top of his head, and it was well covered by Zach Henderson and Hicks also. But generally, when Michigan is throwing the ball, they've thrown it with one man coming out, and they're picking them up pretty tough.
Kurt Stevenson comes in. Chris Gotze comes out. Stevenson listed as a split end. 7:40 to go. Oklahoma leading by 14. Jim Smith and Keith Johnson both go wide left. Leach has the time, delivers, and it is over the head of everybody. Intended for Keith Johnson downfield at the 5-yard line. Zach Henderson was there with him. Well, now it is 4th down and 7:34 to go. Leach looks to the sidelines to see, do we try for it again? On 4th down and 14 to go, or do we kick it away?
Time is getting a little short, but they're going to punt. Hope they get a good break and a turnover. That's the way they've been doing it for years. I guess I'm no one to second guess that.
Michigan, the fewest points they've had this year, 14. But they have none so far tonight. All down by Lytle. And Oklahoma's back in the hole again.
They've got that play down.
Ball is on the 2-yard line. Oklahoma has it and has the 14-0 lead. Billy Brooks goes wide to the right, but you can bet Steve Davis isn't going to put it in the air from here. Joe Washington in the end zone, trying to get out of the end zone, and
he got out.
That's the 1. Oh, that would have been 2 points, and Michigan would have gotten the ball on a free kick from the 20.
Well, I tell you, Joe was put to the test on that one, and he was up to it. He is definitely alone once this ball is snapped. Now, you can see Dufek is playing the whole thing out to stop Joe. That's been his assignment all night long. Calvin O'Neill almost got a shot at him, and those are 2 pretty good cats running you down.
Jim Pickens ran him out of bounds. 2nd and 11. A lot of time left, 7:17. Football is loose.
Oh, my.
Now waits for the officials. That's Michigan. Now they say Michigan has got the ball on the 2.
I'll tell you, Bo seems to know what he's doing out there. There's no way in the world I'd have punted on 4th down and 10 on the 35-yard line. He plays it just right, gets the ball picked up on the 1-yard line. Now Cobra fumbles. They've got the ball and a chance to get back in the game.
Second fumble of the night for Jim Colbert. And this one is on the 2-yard line. Well, Michigan had a couple of opportunities. Washington could have been thrown for the safety, but they'd rather have this. First and goal to go from the 2. And 7:09 left in the game. Gordy Bell, touchdown!
How many of these kind have you seen before? That's a long 2 yards down by that goal line, and Gordy made most of those on his own. Now we'll see which way they're going to go, whether they're going to go for the 2 or the 1.
I would assume that I don't know. So I'm going to wait.
I think they're going for the 2 because if they don't make it, they've still got an opportunity the next time to go for 2 to tie it, rather than putting too much of a burden on them to make 2 points if they get close enough on the next touchdown. That's assuming an awful lot, but that's the way it looks.
Bob Wood's not in there. They're lined up, so they are going to go. For the 2. Leach follows the interference, and Leach is stopped short. And it's 14-6. 7:06 to go.
Take a look at Leach. He's making the handoff to Lytle. Keeps it himself. Looks like he may have a chance. However, he's running into a big wall in Dewey Selman there, who makes the play and keeps him short.
Well, I'm going to hold out the old Brody statement I've heard so many times these last couple of years. The game is still in the hat.
It's back in the hat. Uh-oh, it looks like Leach is hurt again.
Leach, concussion the first time. Now it looks like it could be one of his legs, and it could be up to Mark Elzinga. In 1947, Miami against Holy Cross, 10 passes were thrown by Miami, and they completed none. Michigan is now 0 for 13, but that record won't mean a thing to them if they can come back and tie or win this ball game. Oklahoma, with Ohio State having lost today, a shot at the national championship. Arizona State sitting down there in Tempe wondering how the votes will go after all this is over. And UCLA feeling pretty good after what they did today. Onside kick. Go for the football. And it belongs to Oklahoma out at the 46-yard line. With 7:02 to go, they went for the onside kick. Belongs to Oklahoma. They'll mark it at the 47. Now the Michigan defense will be tested. They have not been able to stop Oklahoma on the long drives, but certainly did an excellent job, and Oklahoma had the ball first down on their own 2. That's Joe Washington. Washington held to a yard or 2 by Mike Holmes, number 40. It'll be second down and long yardage.
He even looks good just getting back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, there's Rick Leach. They're working on him again. Second down and about 9. So Mark Elzinga goes back to the well again, warming up, as he had to for much of the third quarter when Leach was out with that slight concussion. Tinker Owens comes left. There's Joe Washington. Washington's got the first down, and he's inside the 45 down to the 43-yard line of the University of Michigan. Tackle was made down there by Derek Howard and Jim Pickens.
Dennis Buchanan blew somebody right off the line, and he's done a fine job at center all year long, but that was a very critical play because they have to keep possession of that ball and keep it away from Michigan. That's the best way to do it, just pick up those first downs.
Well, I thought they had a first down, but they're going to measure, apparently. They haven't brought out the sticks yet. Here they come. And they've got the first down. 6:43 are left. Oklahoma 14, Michigan 6. Oklahoma scored on a 68-yard drive with Davis the final 10 yards, and prior to that, after a dandy catch by Tinker Owens, Billy Brooks ran 39 yards. The lone Michigan touchdown set up with Culbreth, fumbled on the 2, and Michigan took it in. First down from the 43. Steve Davis, and a lot of folks over there, aren't there, including Jeff Perlinger, number 97, who made the stop. And it's second down and nearly 10.
And you can see Davis used his head again there. Time's running a little short with 6.5 minutes to go. He did everything he could to make sure he stayed in bounds once he couldn't pick up any more yardage.
Billy Sims is now in for the first series of downs. He replaces Peacock, and now Sims goes out. And Peacock has come back in. Owens comes wide left. Look at that. Bill Washington has broken that record. Here comes Peacock. Calvin is there, and Calvin O'Neill made the play. And suddenly it is third down, and after that loss, it'll be about 13 to go.
The big part is they did get him out of bounds. Let's take a look at Joe Washington in another dimension. The guy's a great running back, but he's also an excellent blocker, and they feel like he's contributed as much blocking as he has running for him all year long. This time he takes Dufek and just puts him right on his dump.
All-American against All-American. That time the edge went to Washington. Third down, about 13 to go. Straight ahead goes the fullback Culbreth. And it's to the 42-yard line, and Oklahoma will have to kick it away, and with about 5:45 to go, it'll be less than that by the time they kick it away, Michigan will have one more shot. At least one more. Tinker Owens stepping back to his own 38. Dwight Hicks is the deep man. Rushes on. He got it away. The ball is going down toward the end zone and into the end zone. And will come out to the 20-yard line.
They tried to make a little relay job of that one.
Oh, 5:15 to go. The ball comes out to the 20-yard line. Michigan trailing 14-6. In the Orange Bowl on a nice evening, temperature in the mid-60s, Jim Simpson, John Brody. Michigan's got the football, sending Keith Johnson wide to the left. Elzinga is the quarterback. Rick Leach again on the bench with an injury. Elzinga back to throw on first down. Gets the ball away and overshoots. The intended receiver, Jim Smith, at the 38-yard line. It'll be second down and 10. And now Michigan is over 14, and now Mark Elzinga is limping a little bit.
Well, he's limping because Jimbo Elrod had a beautiful shot at him, took it just as he threw the ball, and that's why it was thrown a little high. Looked like he got it right in the thigh, but I tell you, that's awful hard to throw when you're catching a defensive lineman at the same time you're trying to pick out a receiver.
They look to the sidelines, but Elzinga is staying in there. Second down, 10. Straight ahead, most Lytle. And suddenly it is third down, and Elzinga is still limping. Looking back to the sideline. And he knows he's going to have to put it up.
If he can find a way to limp back there, it shouldn't restrict his throwing too much, and it's awfully necessary they do complete their first ball of the night with under 5 minutes to play if they're going to get back.
Well, a play apparently is coming in with Gene Johnson. Jim Smith wide to the right. Keith Johnson wide to the left. Gordy Bell, and he's not going to get anywhere near the first down. It'll be fourth down from a 25-yard line. Dewey Selman is there. Michigan's quarterbacking has taken some lumps tonight. Rick Leach hurt twice. Elzinga limping off. And Oklahoma looking stronger every moment. John Anderson comes on to kick the ball away. Clock shows exactly 4 minutes left. A time is called by Oklahoma, apparently. And they're calling Oklahoma's Jamie Thomas over.
I think they want to get everything straight.
Well, the Senior Bowl, the first professional appearance for this past season's college football seniors, will be televised by NBC from Mobile, Alabama, starting at 1:30 Eastern Time on Sunday, January the 11th. And among the players you'll see are All-Americans Greg Penrose of San Diego State and Gene Swick of Toledo, the two top college passers in the country. That's the Senior Bowl, Sunday, January 11th, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on NBC. NBC Sports, #1 in live coverage of major sports events all year round. And if you don't believe me, remember that today, I hope you saw on NBC, #1 ranked Ohio State upset by UCLA. And now, for the first time on television in better than 2 years, you're seeing Oklahoma make a run at what they hope will be the national championship. Anderson in to kick the ball away. Anderson gets away a beauty. Beauty. Joe Washington deep and takes it at the 30-yard line. Oklahoma's got the football, and time is in their favor. They're up by 8 with 3:52 to go. Anderson has done an outstanding job of punting the ball tonight.
He's an outstanding punter, and they have a big edge in that department. It's a good thing this ball game hasn't gone down to that as far as Oklahoma's concerned.
A few more historical facts about the Orange Bowl, now in its 42nd year. Billy Brooks, wide to the right. That's Culbreth getting away from Morton. Gets out near the 40-yard line and near another first down. It'll be second down and short yardage, about 2. Hicks came up from his safety position to make the stop.
You know, Culbreth hasn't played a whole lot this year, Jim, and it's good to see. He has fumbled the ball twice, but when he has carried the ball, he's carried it for a lot of yardage in between.
Joe Washington turning the corner and has got the first down. They'll mark the ball at the 42-yard line. First and 10 for the Sooners. Joe Washington was All-American as a sophomore, All-American as a junior, not as a senior, but then he didn't have the statistics, even in the Big 8, because of the way they ran the wishbone, and even more than that, how they defensed the wishbone, which was defensing that left halfback.
And yet, Barry Switzer said he thinks he's contributed as much this year as he has in the previous 2.
There he goes, Joe Washington cutting inside,
Oh!
still on his feet. What a move, and finally dragged down by Devich. First down inside the 45.
I don't know if he has any eyes in his ear holes, but it certainly appears so, because there's no way he can make the moves he does to the right and the left as laterally as he does without just a little bit of edge on the rest of us. He's seeing things some of us don't get a chance to see, I believe.
Less than 3 minutes to go. First down. Davis hands off to Culbreth, and Culbreth gets down to the 40-yard line. What a day this has been for collegiate football.
Jim, we're getting to the time where they need 1 or 2 real big plays, and if they're to get another first down, it's going to make it awful tough for Michigan to even get the ball back. And in order to do that, they'd have to call all their timeouts.
Billy Brooks goes wide to the right. Second down and about 8. Steve Davis, across the 35, pitching back to Peacock. Down goes an official, and Davis is with him.
And Steve isn't very happy about the way he just executed that play. They had a shot where he picked up 7 or 8 yards, possibly could have picked up the first down. He chose to throw it out to Peacock, and actually a Michigan man hit it in the interim, and he knew that was a chance he didn't want to take at this time. Let's take a look at it. He fakes it to Culbreth. He comes on out here. He turns up the field, makes a pretty good play. You can see here, whoops, well, the guy that got it in the interim was the referee. That could have been a very big exchange.
And Steve Davis said a few words about it.
He may have been hot at the ref. In fact, I know he was.
Ball is pulled back, and we'll listen.
Illegal procedure against number 66 of the red team.
Terry Webb, the All-American from Muskogee, Oklahoma, guilty of illegal motion. Second down at about 13. 2:18 left. Michigan hoping for the big turnover. Oklahoma just wanting to move the football and run down the clock. Oh, look at Joe Washington. He went into the line, and all of a sudden, like he backed out of there. That's what they said. He could run backwards just as fast as he could run forwards or sideways.
I know it sure makes you look like a good coach, though, if you have one like this around. Here he goes into the line, makes an excellent sidestep on Devich, gets outside of Perlinger, and with one step, he does the whole routine, picks up about 7 or 8 yards, and they're back in position to make another first down.
Third down and 5 to go. Brooks very wide to the right. Pitch back to Joe Washington. They're converging on him. And it's going to be fourth down as he loses about 5 yards, and Michigan will get yet another shot. With 2 minutes to go and counting inside the 2-minute mark. And Oklahoma naturally in no hurry at all to get the kicking team on.
You can see those two guys walking off the field. Both O'Neal and Morton have played a heck of a game all night long. They've been in pursuit, and when you play against that wishbone, you better be running.
1:43 left.
Let's hear it from Paul Quinn.
The rush is on. Tinker Owens, and he gets the ball away. And this ball will go into the end zone and come back out to the 20. They've got 93 yards to go, and then they must get the 2 to tie. Leach turns it upfield across the 10, and Leach is out across the 15-yard line. Well, our thanks to Jim Armstrong, the president of the Orange Bowl Committee, Dan McNamara, the general manager, Hal Fleming, the production manager, Gil Sloan, the publicity director of the Orange Bowl Committee, old friends Ben Benjamin, Jack Baldwin, Stuart Patton. All of the members have worked so hard all year long to make this event possible. Second down at about a yard.
They've still got their timeouts left, Jim, but they're going to have to use one in a second.
59 seconds left. They haven't completed a pass yet. Leach puts it up and cannot complete this one. Intended for Keith Johnson. I'd also like to remind everybody that we're deeply indebted to the man who started all of these pageants, Ernie Seiler, who retired after last year. And of course, from Michigan, Don Canham, the athletic director, Bo Schembechler, the head coach, Will and Pat Perry, the sports information office. From Oklahoma, Wade Walker, the athletic director, Barry Switzer, the head coach, John Keith, the sports information director. And once this game is over, if it ends this way, those who vote will go back to the old drawing board. Is it Oklahoma number 1? Is it Arizona State number 1? Who's number 1? That's up to them to decide, but I would say that Oklahoma's got a big, long leg up on the possibility. Leach hands off to Gordy Bell, who gets up to the 7-yard line. Clock continues to run. Anthony Bryan, number 71, makes the stop. The possibility, as they call timeout, for Oklahoma to win the national championship was set up today when Ohio State was beaten by UCLA, and I'm sure down in Alabama, where they only lost their first game of the season and won every game since, the Crimson Tide followers are saying, hey, what about us down here?
I think there's a lot of people going to be putting a claim in, but this group tonight looks like they've got about as stout a chance as anybody I've seen.
They think so.
They're awesome. I mean, they've got 6 or 7 fellas that just have the kind of ability you can't teach, and they are very well disciplined. They're very well taught. These guys seem to have it all. When you find a team that throws less than they do, and when they do throw, they throw as effectively, you've got quite a group.
Steve Davis, very effective as a thrower tonight. His long pass to Tinker Owens set up the first touchdown run by Billy Brooks. Now Rick Leach will try to get Michigan back into the ballgame. Should they negotiate these final 82 yards in the 49 seconds remaining, they still have to go for the 2 points in order to tie. But they take that at this stage.
Yeah, I think so.
Keith Johnson wide to the left. Kurt Stevenson wide to the right. Jim Smith flank to the left. First down, Leach under pressure, and down he goes. Clock continues to run. Now they call time with 42 seconds left. An outstanding pageant here tonight and an outstanding display of football here tonight. A reminder that Saturday afternoon got Notre Dame and UCLA playing the game of basketball. And on Sunday afternoon, with the right to go to the Super Bowl, the Oakland Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers. But right now, the folks from Oklahoma are concerned about one thing, the final 42 seconds. Barry Switzer, look at this. This is before tonight. 31, 1-1. Not been in a bowl before. Can you imagine being 31, 1-1, and Steve Davis has quarterbacked them to that and not having been in a bowl?
Well, they're in one tonight, and they're doing quite a job.
More than 80,000 looking on. Bo Schembechler and his Michigan crew have done an outstanding job. They never moved the ball in close, but had some outstanding possibilities with their passing game early in the ball game. Oklahoma kept the pressure on. Billy Brooks ran those 39 yards with 5 minutes to go in the first half. Third quarter was scoreless, but Oklahoma was moving the football, and on the first play of the fourth quarter, culminating a 68-yard drive, Steve Davis took it in. The fumble by Colbert set up Bell's 2-yard touchdown for Michigan about 7 minutes ago. It's 14-6. Leach, second down, has to put it up. He's completed one to Gordy Bell. Bell, nifty, running out across the 30-yard line to the 34. A half a minute to go, and time called for the moment because they stopped the clock on a first down in collegiate football.
This is where you can tell, Jim, just how well a team is groomed to play in this last minute of a ball game. They have no seconds to lose. They've only got 27 left.
Leach doesn't know where to unload it and does unload it to Keith Johnson. That's another first down, which will stop the clock with 20 seconds to go at the 49.
All they want to do now is get one more completion down to the 30 so they'd have a chance to put 4 balls up into the end zone. That's about the best shot they have.
From their own 49-yard line. Leach back to throw again. Excellent protection. Drills the ball. Incomplete. Stops the clock. Intended there for Jim Smith at the 43. Scott Hill defending. 12 seconds left. And what seemed like moments ago a sure shot for Oklahoma still looks pretty good, but they're getting a little scare for their money.
Well, I'd say it's you know, right now Michigan's in a situation where they have to get the ball about 20, 25 yards down the field, and then they'll only have a chance for one more play because with 12 seconds left, it's going to take that long to execute anything that's going to get the ball down the field. One more chance, they'd love to have it.
Les Miles replaces Mark Donahue from Michigan at left offensive guard. Well, it is second down 10, 14-6 Oklahoma, and 12 seconds to go. And let's change that around. 5-yard penalty here.
The illegal delay against the white team.
Play of the game. We've been thanking everybody. We should thank Pete Williams and the fine set of officials here tonight. All right, Smith and Keith Johnson to the right, Kirk Stevenson to the left. Jerry Reese, another defensive back, has come in for Oklahoma. Under pressure, he throws for Smith, and the ball is almost intercepted by Jerry Reese, who just came into the ball game.
Reese made a fine play because that ball was right on the money under a big rush. They've been trying to get to Smith all night. It looked like they finally had him, but he came up with a fine one.
The Oklahoma Pride of Oklahoma band thinks they've got it.
There's only time for one more play, and it's got to be 57 yards.
Michigan playing for the first time in a bowl game that is not the Rose Bowl. Oklahoma back off probation, taking a shot at the national title. Third down, 5 seconds to go. Leach back to throw. Leach puts it up, and it is intercepted down the field by Scott Hill. Time has run out. As Hill goes down, Oklahoma has won 14-6. They'll be voting in the coming week to see who is the national champion. Barry Switzer's group did an outstanding job with Billy Brooks and Steve Davis scoring the touchdowns on runs of 39 and 10 yards, and the fumble set up to Gordy Bell, 2-yard